What is up, guys, and welcome to another Q&A. Cruising in the Burb says, what's up, Matt, with Marjorie and Kasmeer? Did she hit that yet? I bet she did, because check this out.
How'd you get out of all that without a single smudge or tear in your dress?
It's not a dress. It's an illusion. You think I'd take my best dress into a place like that?
An illusion? You mean you're
naked? Is that a problem?
No. Not a problem.
Luke says, any opinion on the Eurogamer article? For the people who don't know, Eurogamer had an interview with Colin Johansson and Mike Zodadora. Dora the Explorer, I think is his last name. And they basically answered very tough questions in a way that normally a company would answer such questions like this. And NC financial reports, Arena sales are steadily dropping. Well, you know, it's not dropping as fast as, you know, we thought it would drop. But really, he was right for saying this. Basically, you know, the sales are going to drop because it's not going to consistently sell like millions of copies every single month. They also answer some questions about the living story and how many players don't like it, the season 1 finale, and pretty much no expansion planned, right? It's basically the interview that I gave Colin Johansson back at PAX. But if there's one question that you could take from this article, it's the one where they answer, oh, there's 300 people at ArenaNet and all we're getting is living story updates. Why not expansions? Is there anything in the works? And they answer with, we have a couple really big Guild Wars 2 projects cooking in the background. It's funny how Guild Wars 2's players are like so hungry for expansion pack. They want expansion pack. That's all you hear in interviews. That's all you hear everywhere. They kind of want, you know, the world to be expanded and not with this living story stuff. They want to continue their personal story, even though most people didn't like the personal story. But people have reached that point where it's just like, I don't feel like playing Guild Wars 2 anymore. I want something more. I want new races. I want more skills. I want more weapons. I want more classes. You know, everyone's hungry for that. But ArenaNet is devoted to making the living story sort of like an expansion. And it could be good. It could be bad. I'm not saying it could, you know, it's going to be bad and they're gonna crash and burn. I'm just saying, you know, they really do have to prove it in order for people to get off their back about an expansion pack. And it feels like they're still trying to find themselves. They're still trying to feel like, oh, how are we gonna do it? They shouldn't be talking about how they could be doing it. They should be working on it already. This decision should have been made from way back, but maybe they've just been busy trying to fix the game and everything. A lot of the features of the game, like guesting, spectator mode, all that stuff has, you know, just came in like a year later, you know, not a year later, but a few months down the line. And so they're kind of behind now. And I feel like, I guess this year would be the year where they start focusing on those big, huge projects. Colin Johansson has mentioned numerous times, oh, we're gonna make the living story, you know, expand on areas or introduce, you know, like big bosses and stuff like that through the living story that are permanent. Do you guys think that, you know, they can pull this off and have expansions for free in the living story? I mean, everyone likes free content, even though everyone complains about it. You know, you know, they have the right to complain about it. They're introducing. I think time is money, right? And if you put time into a game, it's costing money basically, you know, and you're putting time in. Should you keep playing a game or should you just move on to another MMO if, you know, because usually people will only play one MMO. It's kind of hard to play 2 MMOs at the same time, especially if you have a guild and stuff like that. But anyways, what do you guys think? I'm really... Are most people on the side of, oh, they can do it, they can pull off the living story expansion pack, or should they just not do that? They should quit what they're doing and they should work on the expansion pack and release it for a price. Eat the Dink says, if you can add a weapon to the engineer, what would it be and why? I gotta say, I would love to see a melee weapon on the engineer. And if it had to be an existing weapon that's already in the game, I would probably like a hammer or some huge two-hander, you know, like, I don't know if I really want a great sword on them. I guess it would be cool, but I definitely would like to see a melee weapon regardless if it's one-hander or two-hander. It would be really cool to get like a hammer as an engineer and get a skin that changes it into a huge wrench and you could go around just whacking people with it. Now Goran24 aka Elmo says, hey Matt, do you ever think they'll implement a arena deathmatch 2v2 or 3v3? I absolutely think that they'll put that in as an official game mode. People are already doing it as it is. People have tournaments for 2v2s. Now I think 3v3s, but I think 2v2s are the more interesting ones, you know, two people building together, making sure they're you know, because usually in a 5v5 you have certain builds that are just meta. This is just the way you use them. You know, some people change it up, but you really see some really crazy comps in 2v2s because you're basically having, you know, you're working with the other character, either supporting the other character or two glass cannons. You know, there's all sorts of stuff you can do in 2v2s, and that's why they're more interesting to me, at least, and definitely to watch, because you just have 4 players on the screen. You can easily tell what's going on. You can easily shoutcast it. I definitely think it's in the future, and they've pretty much hinted at it, or they said they have watched a lot of streams with 2v2s, at least on that live stream for Ready Up Guild Wars 2. Cody Hamilton says, with the release approaching in April for PC, do you think the release of Elder Scrolls Online would negatively affect Guild Wars 2? If so, what do you think would change? First, I think anything or any game can affect MMO. It doesn't have to be an MMO in order to affect Guild Wars 2, or any MMO for that matter. When Assassin's Creed or Grand Theft Auto came out, who stopped playing Guild Wars 2 for the moment? I have my hand raised right now, but I'm assuming you're meaning like totally stopped Guild Wars 2, like never to come back, and they just replace it with ESO. This depends on Guild Wars 2 and their current model, the living story, right? They took all the feedback from everyone, right? Or at least the feedback that they think is valuable, and they put it in Season 1. They have changed the living story. Now, we're gonna get to see, is the living story as good as they want it to be, and is it good for the player? Are we more invested into this new type of living story? Are we gonna be like, oh man, I can't wait for Season 2 finale or the beginning of Season 2? Are we gonna be invested enough to keep playing the game and, you know, turn away from, you know, ESO or WildStar or any of those MMOs or games out there that are, you know, gonna be trying to grab our attention? To answer your question though, I think it all depends on the long haul of the game. Yes, ESO might come out and it may flop, or it might be good. If it's good, is it going to be good for a year down the line, right? It might win all these awards. Oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. But really, you don't really tell if an MMO is good or not until you play it for like over a year and be like, are you still playing? Are you still invested in your character? Do you still want to, you know, log in and play with some friends or do the same old dungeon? Or are they creating new content? Is there end game? Is that what you're looking for? Is it everything that you're looking for in an MMO to keep your experience, you know, like the best possible? I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna buy ESO to try it out, right? Just like SWTOR, right? And then the people who like, you know, ESO are gonna stay at ESO, and the people who don't like ESO and they prefer Guild Wars 2 or any other game, any other MMO that's coming out, or they have playing like WoW, or you know, some people play League of Legends like an MMO, you know, they'll go back to that one. It's all what people, you know, are feeling at the time. And yes, it will negatively affect Guild Wars 2 at the very beginning if Guild Wars 2 doesn't have like some expansion pack or some living story huge update that's coming around April, you know, so people have to say, okay, am I gonna play this or Guild Wars 2? You know, it was the same thing as the Mr. Pandora expansion. Sorry, I don't play WoW. You know, that came out as soon as like Guild Wars 2 came out, and people were kind of like, oh, which one should I play? Should I buy the expansion or should I buy Guild Wars 2 and have no subscription fee? And I'm pretty sure that's why a lot of people have bought Guild Wars 2, and it was like the fastest, you know, selling MMO. I mean, that wasn't the only reason, but that had a factor, you know. Anyways, guys, if you want to leave questions for the next Q&A, leave it down below so I can answer it in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay visual.